No one, no matter how resilient, is ever truly ready for some times in life. Every morning on CBS Mornings, millions of people look forward to seeing the smiling, poised Gayle King. She's the calm presence amidst the storm, the voice of logic when things get heated. However, that calm was disturbed not long ago. Red carpet appearances, which Gayle normally never misses, had gone missing. More so than previously, she was absent from the morning show. Even when she did show there, she avoided making eye contact while smiling. Short quotations on strength and time were among her enigmatic social media postings. We had no clue what she was preparing us for, but it appeared like she was doing something. The rise of the Gayle King. Although Gayle King is now one of the most famous faces on American morning TV, she did not become famous overnight. Both Gayle's parents, Peggy Tucker and Emmett Scott King, were born and raised in Chevy Chase, Maryland. Her life took a daring turn when she was 6 years old. Because her dad was an electrical engineer, the family uprooted and settled in Ankara, Turkey. Gayle lived in a foreign country for 5 years before coming back to the United States in 1966. Gayle returned to her home in Maryland to focus on her education, and she eventually earned a degree in psychology from UMD College Park. However, she chose to go in a different way, straight to television, instead of seeking counseling or therapy. Beginning her career in the background, Gayle worked as an assistant in the production department at Baltimore's WGZ-TV. There she met Oprah Winfrey, who would go on to be her friend and an inspiration for the rest of her life. For the better part of Gayle's career, that friendship would shape her. Associations, however, were not in Gayle's plans. She worked her way to the top. Before moving to Kansas City, Missouri, she was an apprentice reporter for WSA-TV in Washington, D.C., and later worked as a weekend anchor and general assignment reporter for WDF-TV. She broke through in 1981 when she took over as news anchor for Hartford, Connecticut's WFSB. She stayed for 18 years, becoming a household name across the state. During her time there, she also settled into a life for herself professionally and emotionally in Glastonbury, Connecticut. Talk programs became Gayle's next area of experimentation. She co-hosted a daytime chat program and served as a special correspondent for OWN. In 1991, from beginning to end, the show was abruptly canceled after just 13 weeks. However, Gayle remained unfazed by that. The Gayle King Show, her talk show, premiered in 1997. Even though that program had a one-season run as well, Gayle was still able to have her say. She launched a revamped version of The Gayle King Show in 2006 and continued airing it until 2011 on XM satellite radio, where Oprah has her own network. A huge turning point followed. Gayle began working for CBS in 2011, and in January 2012, she joined the cast of CBS This Morning as one of the co-hosts. The rapport she had with Charlie Rose, her co-host, was a major point of praise. After leaving the show due to controversy, Gayle remained a steady, well-respected presence. While CBS was investigating allegations of sexual misconduct, she was not bashful about voicing her concerns or demanding answers. The conversation with R was absolutely enthralling and unflappable. No one will ever forget it. Is Kelly the meltdown protagonist? Her ability to remain calm under pressure at that moment garnered her widespread praise. However, Gayle's abilities extend beyond the realm of television. Additionally, she has been an editor for O since 1999. Her talents as a print journalist are also on display in the Oprah magazine. Prior to her full transition to CBS, she also served as a special correspondent for Good Morning America. Many accolades and awards have come Gayle's way for her efforts throughout the years. The Broadcasting and Cable Hall of Fame inducted her in 2018. Time magazine also included her in their 2019 list of the 100 most powerful people on Earth. A new series called King Charles debuted on CNN in 2023, presented by Charles Barkley, a basketball legend, and Gayle. Throughout, she continues to co-host CBS Mornings, demonstrating to the public that her passion for reporting is unquenchable. Life of Gayle King, an individual. Not only is Gayle King a well-known journalist, but she is also well known for having one of the oldest friendships in television history. In 1976, she and Oprah Winfrey became good friends, and they were co-workers at a TV station in Baltimore. From that moment on, they clicked like a couple of peas in a pod. With regard to her personal life, Gayle was wed to William Bumpus, a Connecticut attorney and assistant attorney general, as Oprah so movingly portrayed her in a 2010 interview with Barbara Walters. After getting married in 1982 and staying together for 11 years, they filed for a divorce in 1993. In a 2016 interview, Gayle revealed the painful cause for their split, saying, "I'm not a huge fan of the woman I caught naked with my now ex-husband on June 24, 1990. around 9:16 p.m., publicly apologizing for the major offense that greatly changed all of our lives. Bumpus issued this statement after this revelation. In spite of her pain, Gayle never wavered in her role as a nurturing mother to Kirby and William Jr., their children. As one of the most beautiful moments of her life, Gayle joyfully shared the news and behind-the-scenes images of her daughter Kirby's wedding in 2021, which happened during the pandemic. A tiny ceremony with only a few people was held at Oprah's residence. In the face of professional success, personal tragedy, and deep connections that last a lifetime, Gayle King has shown the world what it means to be strong, vulnerable, and graceful. The contentious interview with Kobe Bryant. Many different feelings are experienced by the public upon hearing of the death of a famous person like Kobe Bryant. Grief, astonishment, grief, and, at times, a lack of confidence in how to broach the subject of their lives. In such cases, journalists face a challenging task. They need to be forthright with the public about the person's good and negative qualities, but they also need to be tactful. With one of Kobe's closest friends, Gayle King accomplished just that. During their conversation, she brought up a long-ago accusation of sexual assault against Kobe. Despite the numerous thoughtful and considerate moments throughout the interview, only a 3 or 4-second clip was made public online without the full context. The public was incensed. All of a sudden, everything went boom thanks to social media. Many felt Gayle was being unfair to Kobe's memory when that short clip went viral. However, the full interview had eluded their ears. What this showed was that in today's fast-paced society, even little pieces of information, taken out of context, may make a big splash. Someone else brought up the fact that Black journalists, and Black women in particular like Gayle, are more likely to be hated when tragic incidents involving well-loved public figures are covered. Therefore, the outcry was about more than just her writing. There were broader implications regarding gender, race, and the control over particular narratives. Threats and unpleasant remarks were among the many forms of criticism that Gayle experienced. The importance of discussing all aspects of someone's life, especially the difficult ones, was emphasized by many who quickly came to her defense. At the end of the day, her employer, CBS, recognized they were wrong to release the clip without providing adequate context or care. For journalists worldwide, it was a teachable moment. Even journalism schools now use the incident as a case study on how to improve their reporting skills and avoid common pitfalls. Journalists have a better grasp of the process of internet clip uploading and the necessary standards for sensitivity, context, and fairness. R. Kelly interview with Gayle King. R. Kelly in a confrontation that quickly became heated and passionate. Also, for girls, ranging in age from 13 to 16, were victims of sexual assault, and Kelly had recently entered a not guilty plea to 10 serious counts. Although Kelly had been dogged by these accusations for some time, the documentary Surviving R. Kelly put a magnifying glass on them, in which several women, especially young Black girls, gave terrifying testimony. Throughout the interview, Gayle King maintained her composure and acted professionally. "You seriously sit here and say you've never been with underage girls?" was one of the essential but tough questions Kelly asked him, even as her anger was plainly visible. Kelly flatly declined to answer, saying he was too busy with his case to talk about it at the moment. On the contrary, he became increasingly combative and abrasive, shouting, "I am fighting for my thing life. I gave you my whole 30 years of work, and now you're out to get me." He yelled out, "Music has no bearing on this. I'm struggling to establish a connection with my children." Kelly lost his temper, but Gayle kept hers. She remained calm and collected. With an air of calm confidence, she persisted in inquiring. That brought out her competence even more. Soothing him down was a necessary intervention on the part of Kelly's publicist. Kelly made an effort to claim he had never broken the law. Although he did marry singer Aaliyah when she was 15 years old, he said he never had sexual relations with anyone younger than 17. Additionally, he denied ever having held females captive in his home. In his own words, "That's Stu." Asriel Clary and Jocelyn Savage were two of the women he mentioned who were still living in his home. Even though Clary was supposedly young when they initially met, he still called them girlfriends. For Kelly, it's not that they're much younger than me, it's that they're legal. Kelly persisted in trying to portray herself as a victim at one point in the conversation. He said the girl's parents were trying to destroy him because they wanted money, proceeded to address the camera by name, without really helping Kelly in the end, even if she seemed to be addressing the audience. Neither new answers nor supporting evidence were ever offered by him. At the same time, Gayle King was lauded for showing how a real journalist handles a stressful situation by keeping her cool. Blue Origin space flight criticism. In April of 2025, Gayle King also embarked on a short space voyage with Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos' space company. There were no males on board this mission, which made it unique. The team included Katy Perry, the pop singer, Lauren Sanchez, Bezos' fiancée, Amanda Nguyen, the civil rights champion, Aisha Bowe, the former NASA engineer, and Carrie Flynn, the movie producer. An all-female space trip had not been attempted since 1963 until this one. A lot of people were interested in the 11-minute flight. Viewers tuned in live on television to witness it. A total of around 3.9 million people tuned in to watch CBS Mornings that day, making it more popular than Good Morning America and Today. Even more so than Oprah's 2021 interview with Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. This morning's show was the most watched in years. However, there were dissenting opinions. Many others saw the space voyage more as a publicity stunt than an opportunity to advance scientific knowledge. While many individuals struggle to buy basic necessities like eggs, actress Olivia Munn made the astute observation that space travel is prohibitively expensive. A little gluttonous, she went on to say. The goal of space exploration was to acquire more knowledge that could benefit humanity. Many others took advantage of the flight, including Katy Perry's extreme antics. As she floated through the capsule, she showed her respect for her daughter by waving a daisy flower. As soon as she touched down in Texas, she knelt down and kissed the ground. For some, it was just too much. Nevertheless, Gayle King refused to accept the criticism. The answer we're receiving from young women and girls around what this signifies is something that we can all speak to, she firmly stated in her response. The purpose of the trip, she stressed, was to motivate people, particularly young women with lofty aspirations. Lauren Sanchez spoke out in support of the mission team and crew as well. Blue Origin has thousands of people who do more than simply work here. I would love it if the critics could come visit them, but put their heart and soul into this vehicle, she said. Even though a few called it a stunt, remained committed to the positive message that women can do anything, including going to space. And for at least one day, she helped CBS Mornings hit it straight to the top. During a recent episode of CBS Mornings, Gayle King interviewed openly gay comedian Matteo Lane. As they were chatting, Gayle King recited one of Lane's jokes during his stand-up set. The joke was concerning how certain white women behave when they've had a bit too much to drink. And Gayle, attempting to recite the joke, commented, "What in the F? Try are you talking about?" This surprised some of the viewers because Gayle had used a gay slur, a term that is normally used to demean gay men. Matteo Lane, the comedian himself, was also laughing and covered his mouth. He appeared to think the moment was humorous and replied, stating, "I love you, Gayle King." When Gayle requested him to clarify the joke, Lane teased that white women won't stop after they take a sip of rose and teased about how they get excited. Many people were surprised by Gayle's choice of words, especially since the slur has a painful history in the gay community. Fans took to social media to express their shock, with one person writing, "Did Gayle King just say that out loud on national TV? I'm gagged." Literally jaw dropped. Others pointed out that it was inappropriate for Gayle to say that word on live TV, even though she was quoting Matteo Lane's comedy. Once the episode was broadcast, CBS took the clip containing the slur off of their social media page. But Matteo Lane left a censored version of the clip up on his Instagram page. Gayle King and Matteo Lane have not yet spoken out on the scandal after the interview had aired. Apart from the joke, Gayle and Matteo discussed his new cookbook, Your Pasta Sucks, and how he marries cooking with comedy. Gayle commended Lane for being transparent about his sexuality and how he injects humor into everything, including cooking. Lane explained that he came from a large family and learned to be opinionated and funny, and that helped him easily incorporate comedy with cooking in his stand-up routines. Although Gayle's statement caused controversy, the interview also revealed a lighthearted side to Matteo Lane's comedy life. The live television use of a slur made many people uneasy. However, comments on lack of diversity at Trump's inauguration. Gayle King, a popular host of CBS Mornings, was in the midst of an argument while covering President Donald Trump's 2025 inauguration live. In observing individuals arriving at the U.S. Capitol for the ceremony, she saw something that stood out to her, and she voiced it on national TV. "I don't notice many people of color. Do others besides myself notice that?" she asked during the broadcast. She continued, "I am curious about why that is." Her inquiry happened to be happening as politicians, Supreme Court justices, and celebrities were arriving to witness Trump's inauguration. The inauguration also happened to be happening on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so her remark took on an additional sense of validity for some in the audience. After she made this statement, her co-host, Norah O'Donnell, replied by mentioning a couple of well-known black leaders who were in attendance, such as former President Barack Obama, Vice President Kamala Harris, and Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. But Gayle's comment had already begun sparking controversy online. there were some individuals who didn't appreciate what she said. Conservative media personality Megyn Kelly panned Gayle on X, formerly Twitter. With this, Gayle King on CBS is asking why there are not more people of color at the inauguration. Of course, others were critical of Gayle for bringing a race into it rather than the ceremony as a whole. One Trump supporter posted, "But Gayle wasn't alone in how she felt." Some people online supported her point. The crowd was noticeably lacking diversity and mostly white, especially among big names like Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos. A few went so far as to call her observation significant, particularly as Trump's policies have been perceived as reversing diversity, equity, and inclusion DI initiatives. Trump actually referenced, in his speech, that shutting down DI programs in federal agencies is one of his initial priorities. CBS never issued a statement regarding Gayle's remark, and she never followed up on it either. Yet what she did prompted people to discuss about who gets spotted at these parties, who gets invited, and why diversity continues to be relevant, particularly on the day set aside to remember Martin Luther King Jr. Whatever you think, Gayle King again initiated an essential conversation, one that she has never hesitated to have: salary negotiations and gender pay gap. Gayle King has been a leading journalist for many years, but her fight to gain equitable pay at CBS News shows her determination and commitment to equal pay, particularly for women of color. In 2019, following her highly praised interview with R. King sat down with CBS to negotiate a contract. She was then making around $5 million a year. Sensing her worth, she negotiated for a salary level on par with industry colleagues such as ABC's George Stephanopoulos, who allegedly made between $15 million and $18 million. After being urged by her good friend Oprah Winfrey, who urged, "Get what you want. Get exactly what you want, because now's the time." King brokered a new contract worth $11 million annually. King's negotiation style was based on self-knowledge and a clear sense of her value. Looking back on her early career, she confessed, "In my first job in Kansas City, I didn't even negotiate. They told me this was my salary. I didn't speak up for myself for a very long time." Over time, she learned to assert her worth, stating, "You have to figure out what you want, what you will accept, and what you won't accept, and be prepared to walk away if they're not going to meet what you want." Aside from her own success, King has been an outspoken supporter of closing the gender pay gap. She stresses the value of being able to offer tangible proof of one's work when asking for a raise, stating, "It is very easy to present your employers with what you've done." She makes a distinction between deserving and earning a raise, stating, "I don't think it is deserved. I think it is earned." There is a difference. King's ability to negotiate her salary not only indicates her individual growth, but also inspires others, especially women and minorities, to negotiate for fair compensation. Her narrative highlights the importance of being aware of one's worth and the power of persistence in negotiations. Her pandemic experience during the pandemic, Gayle King, co-anchor of CBS Mornings, was candid about her experiences and the challenges she encountered. She spoke to viewers about her experience, explaining how it was emotionally draining to be apart from loved ones and how she took precautions to ensure that her family members were safe. At one point, King self-quarantined in her basement before she could visit her grandchildren, proving that she adhered to safety measures. She shared this experience, providing people with a peek into her personal life and what she did to keep her family safe. Being open about it made many identify with her since it revealed her vulnerability and motherly nature amidst times of uncertainty. King also made vaccination unequivocal. Appearing in an interview on CBS This Morning in 2021, she lamented unvaccinated people, saying, "I have this thing about some of my own family members, which I'm now going to disinvite for Thanksgiving break." That's how adamant I am taking what you were saying. How honest she was regarding setting a limit spoke volume to how severely she treated the pandemic. In addition, expressed her sentiments regarding being single in quarantine, calling it daunting. She talked about the difficulties of isolation and the need to stay connected, even if virtually. Gayle King is a veteran journalist and TV personality who has established a strong career spanning decades. Her net worth, as of 2024, is estimated to range from $72 million to $80 million, indicating her wealth from broadcasting, publishing, and investments. The bulk of King's income comes from being the co-host of CBS Mornings, on which she allegedly earns a yearly salary of $11 million. Her pay has significantly increased over the years, beginning at $2 million when she began at CBS in 2011, going up to $5 million in 2018, and landing at $11 million in 2019. Aside from her career in television, King has served as editor-at-large at O, the Oprah magazine, since 1999, a position that has added to her income and notoriety. She has also written books and presented several shows, further generating her revenue sources. King's fortune is supplemented by her property investments. She has several properties in the United States, among them a $7 million Manhattan penthouse and a 10,000 square foot house in Greenwich, Connecticut, which she bought in 2000 for $3.6 million. Her property holdings are worth around $19 million. Aside from property, King has also invested in several stocks and bonds, among them having stakes in firms such as Citigroup, Tesla, Visa, McDonald's, and PayPal. Her portfolio of investments is valued at approximately $13 million. King's financial know-how is also present in her personal life. She has a fleet of high-end cars that include Rolls-Royce, Porsche Macan, Mercedes GLS, Land Rover, Jaguar F-Type, Tesla Model S, Audi A6, Lamborghini Urus, and Ferrari 812. King is philanthropic despite her wealth. She gives away about $500,000 every year to charity. In short, Gayle King's considerable net value is a true reflection of her prosperous career in journalism and clever money choices. Her income from CBS, appearances in publishing, real estate, and stock shares have all gone towards her fortune. Filmography. Gayle King is most recognized for her career as a journalist and television host, but she's appeared in a number of films and television shows on the side over the years. Though acting isn't what she does full-time, she's been frequently asked to play herself or make humorous cameos in well-known productions. One of her first movie roles was in the 1985 film The Color Purple, where she played a small, uncredited role as a church member. She later appeared in The Manchurian Candidate in 2004 as a media figure. Gayle has also appeared in a number of television shows, typically as herself. For instance, she was featured in an episode of 30 Rock during 2012 called My Whole Life is Thunder, in which she featured as herself. She also appeared in Being Mary Jane and Saturday Night Live during 2015 and The Boss during 2016. In 2017 and 2021, she guest starred on the drama television series Queen Sugar, reprising her role as herself. She also appeared in the movies Queen and Slim in 2019 and in the television shows The Game 2021 and Billions 2022. More recently, she was included in the 2024 movie The Trainer. Gayle's television and film work reveals the level of respect and familiarity she commands within the entertainment industry. Although not a conventional actress, her contribution lends credibility to the productions in which she is involved. The tragic diagnosis. With her warm personality and insightful questioning, Gayle King has forged a bond with viewers that has lasted for decades. That's why her abrupt choice to leave work has amazed so many individuals. Even though Gayle has not revealed the full extent of her health problem, people close to her have stated that it is a serious health condition. Currently, her top priority is recovering. She's taking a step back from the limelight so she can heal and give her health the attention it deserves. Her absence is certainly being felt at CBS and throughout the world of journalism. Gayle always had a unique ability to connect with people, whether she was reporting on a breaking news story or interviewing someone for an emotional sit-down. It won't be easy to replace her. Fans and co-workers have been showering her with love, good wishes, and support. They're all sharing their favorite memories of her on air, toasting the amazing career she's had up to this point. We don't know what the future holds for her, but one thing is for sure. Gayle King has left a massive mark on journalism, and she'll be respected and admired forever for it. Everyone wishes her a speedy recovery and is cheering her on from the sidelines. Gayle King's story shows resilience, diligence, and being yourself. She did not become an overnight sensation. From beginning in smaller newsrooms to being one of the most respected voices on national TV, Gayle had to battle through difficult times, particularly as a Black woman in an industry where not everyone has the same chance. She endured difficulties with dignity, whether it was bargaining for reasonable compensation, weathering public criticism, or coping with personal tragedies such as her divorce. But all along, Gayle never lost her warmth nor honesty. She used her position to promote others, pose difficult questions, and voice concerns about topics such as racial diversity and equitable pay. Whether she was hosting major interviews or appearing briefly in films, she always presented herself to the world with straightforwardness, intelligent, authentic, and from the heart. Today, she is not only a journalist or a celebrity, she is a role model. Her story teaches us that success is not about having it easy. It is about showing up, working hard, and not giving up when things get difficult. Gayle King's legacy will continue to inspire people for generations to come. If you like this video and are looking for more stories like it, don't forget to like the video, comment, and subscribe to our channel for all the latest updates